Hey guys, I thought I would talk about my favorite shade from my favorite formulas. I talk very often about like favorite lipstick formulas or lip gloss formulas or eyeshadow formulas, blushes, things like that. And I have a ton of shades in each. So I thought it would be fun to kind of, in one video, just talk about my favorite shade from these formulas. You can probably guess a lot of these, but again, I thought it would be fun to just put them all into one video. So let's go ahead and start with some blushes. So the first one I wanted to talk about is the Laura Mercier Blush Color Infusion blush. And my favorite shade is Fresco. Fresco is this very neutral, nude, slightly peach, just a hint of warmth color blush. And it also has a little bit of a sheen to it. It is really, really beautiful. And I love it. That's a very heavy swatch. I love pairing it with like a really bronzy look. I have some cream products on, but I think I'm gonna apply a little bit of this just so you can see what it looks like on the cheeks. It's just gorgeous. And this formula, it is a powder formula, and it's like a pressed powder formula, but I feel like it applies almost like a baked product because it gives you this like veil of color and there isn't a lot of kick up. It's a really interesting formula. I've talked about this before. It feels very hard in the pan. It feels like you're not going to be able to pick up any product, but it picks up actually quite easily. And it is like perfectly pigmented for a blush. It's not too much. It's not too light. And like I said, it leaves like a veil over your cheek and it's just really, really pretty. There's also a ton of different shades, but if you have like a similar aesthetic to me, I would definitely go with Fresco because it is really, really quite universal and looks beautiful paired with a really nice like bronzy base. For cream blush, of course I had to pull out the Clé de Peau cream blush. I have 3 out of the 4 shades, and these are the 3 that I have. So very, very difficult to pick. I really like these 2 shades for like the spring, summertime. They are really bright, really punchy. This one is number 3. Isn't that just gorgeous? And then number 2 is this bright, really beautiful pink. But the shade that I'm gonna pick as my favorite, and I kind of use like, if I lost all of these blushes, what's the first one I would run out and purchase? It's number 4 because it's the most neutral. And I think it is a little bit on the cooler side. And so it's a little bit more unique, I think, than a lot of the other cream blushes that I have. A lot of cream blushes I have tend to be a little bit brighter, a little bit more pastel, a little bit more punchy. And this one is actually like a very subdued kind of cream blush. This is not unique if we were talking about powder blushes, but for some reason I have a lot more brighter cream blushes. And so this one is very unique and it has just such a gorgeous, like very subtle satin finish. All of the Clé de Peau blushes do. And so I think you can see it. It's just really, really beautiful. So number 4 is my favorite from Clé de Peau. The Dew Blush from Say has quickly become one of my favorite formulas. I love it. Every single shade of theirs that I have goes on like a dream, but this shade Poppy is, like I was just talking about with the Clé de Peau blushes, it's this really bright, punchy peach color, and it's so beautiful, especially in the spring, summertime. It really just, oh, it just gives like your entire complexion life. It is so gorgeous. And this formula is so easy to apply. It is, you know, a cream liquid blush. And I just dab a few dots, like maybe 3 dots on each cheek. I blend it out with my finger. I blend it out with a brush, and it blends out beautifully. Never patchy. It never bothers any product that I have on underneath. I've applied it both over powder and over like other cream products like foundation, concealer, and it's fine. It never really kind of like messes up or anything. So it's a wonderful formula. And this shade Poppy is incredible. The last blush I'm going to talk about, and I just had to cut myself off here because I could have gone on and on with blushes. And if you would like to see more of this type of video, just let me know. I could probably do like a whole another video talking about my favorite shades from my favorite formulas. But I'm going to stop myself with the Westman Atelier Baby Cheeks Blush Stick in Pop It. This is another really bright fuchsia pink. I have worn this quite a bit for you guys, and you can put it on in the lightest, sheerest way, and it just, you know, makes you look healthy. or you can put it on a little bit more dramatically, add a little bit to your lips, and you end up with just this really fun kind of bright cheek look, and it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It is a pink that is a little bit on the cooler side, and it's a lot of fun. I know this color looks intimidating. It looks like, you know, maybe a little bit too bright, a little bit too deep of a pink, but because this formula is so impeccable, it blends out like a dream. You really can use just a little bit, just like tap your finger on it, just tap it onto your cheek, and it is really stunning. So that's a pretty heavy swatch, but that is the pink that we're talking about here. Oh, it's so much fun. It's great, like all year round. I feel like it brightens up your complexion, like in the spring, summertime, but you know, in the holiday months, this is really, really great paired with like a blue red lip. Oh, just gorgeous. So that is Pop It in the Westman Atelier Baby Cheeks blush stick. Okay, next let's talk about highlights. And you know, I don't have a lot of highlights in here because usually like one always just kind of stands out. That's the one that works for my skin tone. But there are a few in here that I feel like I could talk about quite a few. There's a few in the line that work for me. So Bobbi Brown's highlighting powder. This one is Pink Glow. And these are those baked gel powder formula highlights that are stunning. And for the longest time, this Pink Glow was my favorite. Look at that. This is my favorite. I think this is probably their most popular shade, but they just launched new shades in this highlighting powder. I don't know if you guys know that, but they came out with Peach Glow, and Peach Glow is now my favorite. So here is Peach Glow. Let me do a swatch of it next to Pink Glow so you can see the difference. It is pretty much, so there is Peach Glow and there is Pink Glow, but it's just a little bit warmer. And I love both of these, and I think, you know, I'll be using both of these definitely on the regular, but I love that they added one that is just a little bit warmer, and I feel like I'm gonna be reaching for this one just a little bit more. The Pink Glow, while the metallic shimmer in it is golden, so it keeps it from being too cool toned, has that pink in there, and I prefer like a peach kind of highlight, like a peachy nude champagne kind of highlight. Those are my favorites, and I love this new one from Bobbi Brown. So Peach Glow is my favorite shade from their highlighting powder line. And then this next one is kind of a no-brainer, but I just wanted to mention it, but the Westman Atelier Lit Up Highlight Stick. I love this shade Nectar. There are, I think, 3 shades altogether. Lit, Nectar, actually there's 4 shades, and I think one is limited edition, maybe coming out, but there are 4 shades in this. So there's Lit, which is the iridescent. There's this one. There is, I think it's called Brûlée. Is it Brûlée? It has like a bronziness to it. And then there's Parla, which is more of like a champagne version of this one. But this is, you know, it's actually much like the Bobbi Brown. It's got that kind of flesh tone peachiness to it. There's like a little bit of warmth, but it is such a gorgeous, gorgeous highlight. And this formula, oh my gosh, definitely one of my favorite cream highlight formulas. It just gives your cheeks that glossy, glossy look. Isn't that beautiful? So I love Nectar. Nectar looks the most natural on my skin tone. So that one is my favorite. You guys know that. I've mentioned it 1,000 times. And then the Westman Atelier Super Loaded Tinted Highlight. My favorite is still the original, the Peau de Pêche. And I use this in my Westman Atelier video. This is so gorgeous, just like all over the cheeks here. Oh, it's so stunning. It's like a beautiful base for bronzer, blush, and highlight. It's just stunning. So this is Peau de Pêche, and there are 4 shades of this now. Yeah, Peau de Rosé, Peau de Santé, and there is like a bronzy one. I can't remember what that one is called. But this one, the original one, Peau de Pêche, is my favorite. Oh, I didn't talk too much about this formula. So this formula, super creamy. It blends out like a dream. And you can also use it on your eyes if you want like, you know, like a monochromatic look. Oh, it's really beautiful. I love this product. Okay, let's talk about eyes. So I've got a few eyeshadows in here. I just went through my Tom Ford Quad collection and I just had to go through and declutter it. It was really getting out of control. I wasn't reaching for any of them. And so I decluttered actually more than half. But I, of course, kept the ones that I love. So one of my all-time favorite eyeshadow formulas is the Tom Ford Wet Dry formula, their Baked Chalet formula. And so I've pulled out two because one is limited edition. I don't think you can get it anymore, but this is my all-time favorite wet dry formula quad from Tom Ford. This is First Frost. And it really is all about this pinky shade up here. It is so, so gorgeous because it has like a little bit of a golden shift to it. I am dying for them to come out with like a highlighter version of this eyeshadow. I mean, look at that. It's incredible. So love this wet dry shadow formula. It's really beautiful. It goes on sheer. You can build it up. You can use it wet or dry. They're just gorgeous. So that's a limited edition favorite for me. But I did want to mention one that is part of the regular line, and it's Body Heat. This one is my favorite if I had to choose one that is part of the regular collection. And these two shades over here make such a gorgeous duo. If you want to put the lighter shade all over your lid and then just add a little bit of dimension with this chocolatey brown. Oh, it's a stunning pair. And the quad, of course, is just gorgeous. If you want to add a little bit of color, this is great. This is like a nice kind of terracotta. And then this is a deeper brown. Just really beautiful. So First Frost and Body Heat. And then you guys know I love Dior eyeshadows, and this is not going to be a surprise either, but the Beige Mitza number 658. This shade is magical. It is so, so gorgeous. There's so much interest in this shade. Like there's like a silvery metallic to it. There's a peach undertone to it. The like bulk of the shadow is like a chocolatey brown. It's just gorgeous. It's one of my favorite one and done eyeshadows. I've talked about this shade endlessly. It is very, very similar to the now discontinued Cosmopolite shadow, which I know was like a longtime favorite for a lot of people. I think it is pretty much the same thing as Cosmopolite. It is stunning. So that is Beige Mitza from Dior. It's just beautiful. And the Dior shadows are so creamy and soft, and they just blend beautifully. They apply beautifully. And I was not a fan of Dior shadows before this latest reformulation when they kind of like redid all of their quints. I had tried one of their older quints and just was not impressed. And when they redid their eyeshadows, I was like, yes, this formula is gorgeous, especially the ones with a little bit of a metallic sheen to them. They're stunning, absolutely stunning. So Beige Mitza, that is my favorite from Dior. And then the Chantecaille Le Chrome Luxe Eye Duos. I haven't talked about these in a while because they keep coming in and out of stock, but Tibet is my absolute favorite duo out of this line. And if I had to pick one shade, it would be this guy right here. It is this taupey shimmer. Again, a beautiful one and done shade. It is like a little bit lighter and cooler tone than the Beige Mitza. So beautiful. Love it so much. I have talked about these baked shadows from Chantecaille quite a bit, but they just have such a gorgeous finish. If any of these duo like color stories call to you, I would pick it up. They're so fantastic. I love, love, love them. And this baked formula for these Le Chrome Luxe Eye Duos, the like shimmer is so intense when you put it all over your lid. It looks almost glass-like. They are incredible. So Tibet is my favorite duo out of that line. And then I have some single shadows here again, which are not going to surprise you, but the Westman Atelier iPod in Tabac. This is my absolute favorite iPod shade. It has a little bit of like a warm peachy tone to it. Another beautiful, beautiful one and done shadow. And I really like the iPod formula. And then the Victoria Beckham Lid Luster. Of course, I had to mention Mink. You guys know how much I love this formula, this particular shade. Here is Mink. The lid lusters, I think they take a little bit of getting used to because they are a bit of a kind of chunky, flaky formula. But once you kind of make friends with it and learn how to use it the best way for you, I just think there is nothing like them. So there is Mink, and wow, we have a real theme going on here. I just think it's kind of a more intense version of Beige Mitza. Do you see how there's like even a little bit of gray in the Mink versus the beige Mitza. It's a little bit deeper. Oh, it's so beautiful. Isn't that incredible? So with this formula, what I like to do is just kind of like pick up some of the pieces of the shadow and then really press and kind of like smear it onto my lid. I find that's the best for me. So I can do that either with a finger, with a brush. It's the same idea, picking it up with a brush and then really kind of like smearing it onto my lid. Not really patting. When I pat, I feel like I get a little bit of fallout, or if I go back and forth a lot, I feel like I get a little bit of fallout. But if I really kind of like press down with the brush and like drag it across my lid, I really get it to adhere. So anyway, that's the lid luster, and Mink is still my favorite shade from the line. And Sicily, these liquid shadows from Sicily have like very, very quickly become one of my favorite formulas. They just work. They just work really, really well. They agree with me. I find them very easy to use, very easy to blend. They stay put. They work well together. It's just a really great, no fuss kind of formula. And this was hard. I was like, okay, what is the one shade that if I were to lose all of them, what's the one shade I would run out and get? And it's number 2. So this is like the light kind of taupey brown shade. There is a deeper brown shade, which I think is number 5, but I think I like this number 2 just a little bit more because for my particular taste, I just like that it's on the lighter side and it's just super, super easy to wear on the lid. So that is Sicily number 2. And then I've got a few pencils to talk about. You guys know how much I love the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude lip liners. You know, I really kind of rotate between all of them. They're all a little, you know, they're all kind of close. Some are a little bit warmer, some are a little bit cooler. My favorite though, like the most neutral, slightly cooling. So there is Ilona NP2. And I really like the formula of these lip liners. They're very creamy. They stay put. They're definitely very, very long lasting. They set down and they're dry like a little bit, but it's not too bad. I have very dry lips and it doesn't bother me, but I do kind of like feel them. I would say that's the only kind of downside to them, but it's so minor. And I feel like if my lips are very well moisturized, it doesn't bother me at all. But I just love that shade. So that is NP2 Ilona. And then the other lip liner formula that I absolutely love, you guys know this, I've talked about this 1,000 times, but this is the Sicily lip liner, and I picked out Beige Neutral. Beige Neutral is definitely the shade that I would run out and get, and it is just, I don't know if you can see that, it's just a little bit pinker than the Natasha Denona. And what I was talking about in terms of like dryness with the Natasha Denona, you never get that with Sicily lip liners. They stay put, they perform like a long-lasting lip liner that kind of sets down and feels a little bit dry, but it never feels dry. It sets down, it doesn't budge, but it never feels dry. They are incredible. The formula is really, really magical. So that is the Sicily, I think they're like the Perfect Lip Liners is the full name. Perfect Lip Liner, and it's the Beige Naturel that I love. And then we have some eyeliners. So let's talk about the most recent addition to this list, the Hourglass Voyeur eyeliners. I love these waterproof gel liners. They don't budge. I really, really like the shades. My favorite one, I think, I'm holding up 2 because I was like, oh, I'll decide when I film. I don't know if I can, but Solstice and Cave. So Solstice is like this really fun bronze that I love to wear pretty much like on my waterline or all over. It's like deep enough to wear like at the base of my lashes. And then Cave is just this really wonderful chocolatey brown. Very, very deep, very, very cool toned. Like there's no orangey or red to it at all. You know what? If I had to pick, I think it would be Solstice. I just think that's a really beautiful, fun, kind of bronzy shade. So this eyeliner, I don't know if you can tell, super creamy. Just goes on, not a problem, goes on my waterline. You know, when I apply it, it never skips, it never tugs, it doesn't drag. It's just incredible, and it never, ever budges. The only downside is that it does take a little bit to remove at the end of the day, but I think it's well worth it. The next eyeliner is the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner, and I took out bronze, and I think this is probably very, very close to Solstice. Oh, this one is a little bit more yellow toned. So the Victoria Beckham is on top. It's the thicker line, and then Solstice is on the bottom. So, basically like the same idea as the Hourglass Voyeur liners. It just goes on really beautifully. The shade is gorgeous. It never budges. It's just wonderful. Goes on my waterline really smoothly, like just great. So just wanted to point that out. I know you guys have seen me use like all three of these shades a lot, but wanted to make mention of those. And then my last eyeliner is from Wayne Goss, and it is Precious Opal. And this is one of the shades that came out when he initially launched his, what are these called? The Essential Eye Kohl Pencil. This is probably my most used eyeliner ever. And there is Precious Opal right there. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's more subtle than either Solstice or Bronze from Victoria Beckham, but it's just really pretty. And this is not a gel liner. This is a kohl liner. So it doesn't necessarily like set down the way a gel liner does, but it doesn't budge on me either. So I really like using it to like smudge out or create like a smoky eye, or just using it as an eyeliner. It's really, really fantastic. So those are all the pencils that I had in here. And then I have a few lip products, of course. So you guys know how much I love the Chantecaille Lip Veil formula. This lip formula, and so many of you commented like, thank you so much for, recommending the Chantecaille lip products. I never would have purchased them if it weren't for you, and I will never look back. Like comments like that. And I have Tamboti here. This is probably the most nude, neutral kind of shade in their regular line. They have a lot of beautiful like pinks and roses and some deeper shades, but I just love Tamboti. It's a very beautiful everyday shade. This formula is incredible. It feels like a lip mask. It will leave your lips feeling better than before you put on the lip product, which is I think very rare for a lipstick. It's just great. In fact, I'm gonna put on it now. It's so beautiful. I love that like subtle sheen that it gives your lips. And it's beyond comfortable. It's like nourishing. So that's my favorite Chantecaille shade in one of my favorite Chantecaille formulas. And then the Rouge Coco Flash from Chanel. So I'm holding two here because one is limited edition, which is my all-time favorite shade, and then one is part of the regular line. So number 154, this is their limited edition shade that I love. This just gives your lips the most insane finish. And I'm sorry I'm talking about this because you can't get it, but do you see that? It's almost like the most subtle highlight for your lips. And when I realized that this was limited edition and sold out everywhere, I really, really looked high and low. I really wanted to get a backup, and I just couldn't find it. It was gone. It was gone forever. And I'm so bummed, but that is number 154 Douceur. I'm slaughtering that too. But number 154. But the one that is part of the regular line, I am not alone in this opinion, but is number 54 Boy. This is just a great like neutral shade. And these Rouge Coco Flashes, I think you can see, yeah, do you see that beautiful finish that it has? This one has it too. All of them have it. It is this really gorgeous, it's not like a frosty shimmer. It's just a finish to your lips where it looks like a satin, but it's not too high gloss. It's just like a satin glossy finish. It's just incredible. I love, love, love the Rouge Coco Flash formula because of this beautiful finish, and they're really comfortable on the lips. And I like that they're not overly pigmented. They're just a really easy to wear kind of lipstick. And this shade, Boy, number 54, is so great. It's so great. Perfect, perfect, perfect for every day. So those are the favorite shades from favorite formulas that I wanted to mention to you. Like I said, I have a ton more, like more lip products, lip glosses, other things. I just needed to cut myself off for this particular video. Otherwise it would have been forever. But if you are into this like theme, let me know down below in the comment section, or give this video a thumbs up, something to let me know that you would like to see more of this, and I can definitely do like a part 2. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.